Hey guys, Telegram Sam here. If you don't already know, I have an Instagram. It's telegram_Sam_vinyl. So if you're on Instagram, check me out on there. But today's video is just a recent vinyl pickups video. I gotta start out by saying thank you to Isaac from Blind Island. The first record I'm gonna show is some VCLT he sent me. We've been talking on Instagram, and one of the things we were talking about is rap music. He just sort of started getting into rap music, and this following artist is one that he loves and I loved, and this was like a little Christmas present from him. And this is Food by MF Doom. This originally came out in 2004, and this is a 2020 US press. I mean, MF Doom is just one of the greatest rappers ever. Mad Villainy, which was the collab he did with Madlib, was one of my favorite releases, or the reissue was one of my favorite releases from last year. This one sounds so good. The packaging is so cool. I just love it so much. It's a really nice cover, and this was his 5th studio album, and this was sort of him doing like a food concept album. I was reading an interview that he was like inspired to do it based off like picnic foods, and plus he came up with like this anagram of his name of like food, so he wants something to kind of go along with it. I think my one gripe with this record is that there's a lot of dialogue parts, which MF Doom usually does in most of his stuff, but I feel it's more dialogue and less rap, and it's like, dude, I want to hear you rap or rap more on this album. But yeah, besides that, it's just really, really good hip-hop conscious music. And this particular reissue came on 2 records. One is on this sort of baby pink record, and then the other one is on this like dark pukey green record. Yeah, really cool, sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Isaac, for that. And then all the other records I got at my Honey Hole antique store that I went to 2 or 3 months ago with my coworker, and she asked me again if I wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, I want to go. And again, I found some amazing records, probably even better records than I found the last time I went there. First off is this record. This is the self-titled debut from Darcy's Rising Sun Steel Band. This is a 1972 US press, and I would describe this as reggae world music. That's kind of like one of the genres I really want to sort of get into this year, is just world music and just music from different continents in general. I really don't have that much in my collection besides like British European bands, but I really want to get into more like African, South American music, and I just saw this and it looked really cool. And plus they do like covers of Something by George Harrison, Bridge Over Troubled Waters, Am I Free, Symphony No. 1, the 4th movement by Beethoven. But yeah, that when I play this, I just want to like dance around my apartment. This is a very nice, like, if you just want to like chill or like dance, I don't know, I just really dig it. It was like $8, so why not? But yeah, this was their first of only 2 albums, and the band is made up of 40 people based in Antigua in the West Indies. So yeah, really cool. Just something newer and diverse in my collection. And then it just came on this black vinyl with the red Lions label. And then next up, another band I've been wanting to get more stuff from. This is Eric Is Here by Eric Burdon and the Animals. The only other Animals / Eric Burdon album I have is like a best of comp from the 70s, so I was really excited to find one of their actual albums at the antique store, but this one is very lackluster. I don't know, I just felt very bored by it. This originally came out in 1967. This is an original US press, and it's their usual pop rock thing. And this was released when they were between the former lineup and then the newer lineup, so you actually have 2 orchestras playing on this, so I think that's why I might not like as much as some of their earlier stuff. But yeah, and this album I believe was only released in the US. But yeah, not my favorite Animals release. But I just love Eric Burdon so much. I don't think he gets thrown in enough in the conversation as like one of the greatest pop, rock, or just singers in general. But yeah, MGM label, black vinyl. Next up, one I kind of took a blind buy, but this is Belly Up by Dr. Hook. I knew nothing of this band. I think I've seen a couple people post some of their albums on Instagram, but I've never listened to any of their music, and it just looked interesting, weird, cool. It has this gatefold of them like hanging around a whole bunch of older women. But this is an original 1973 US press. I would describe this as like bluegrass, rock, country. I would say if you mix like the band with Captain Beefheart and like the Grateful Dead, that's kind of like the best way I would describe their music. But this was their third album, and a lot of the songs on this were actually written by Shel Silverstein. I guess the guys from the band had ended up working on some movie he did, and they helped him write some music on that, and like as a thank you he ended up writing a lot of the songs that are on this album, so that's really cool. I really love the song Rollin' the Roadie and Gertrude the Groupie. That was just such a fun, like kooky, funny song. I just really dig this is really cool. And this one just came on black vinyl on the Red Columbia label. And then next up is this comp album of starring Lou Rawls, and this features Lou Rawls, Joe Tex, and Brooke Benton. I mainly got this for Joe Tex, but I actually really liked Lou Rawls' songs on here, and also Brooke Benton's. But yeah, I think each member or each person ends up having like 3 or 4 songs on this. But yeah, just a really nice little soul, funk, blues comp of those 3 artists. I believe this is late 60s, early 70s pressing. I couldn't really find a year on here. But yeah, super cool. This was like $3, so why not? Always need more soul in my collection. And then this one just came on a Red Premiere label. I don't think I've ever seen anything from that label before, so yeah, interesting. Next up is one I kind of got out of curiosity. I always forget these two were a couple, but this is To the Hard Way by Almond and Woman. Obviously the woman is Cher. I don't know why she was just known as Woman on here, but this is an original 1977 US press. I would describe this as pop, rock, blues. Yeah, this was the only album they ever released together. I think they were married for like 3 or 4 years, but it's just funny because like all the songs are about like, oh my god, I've never loved a person as much as I loved you, we're never gonna break up. And then probably like a year or 2 after this came out, they ended up breaking up. But yeah, it's a very interesting combo. They're 2 very different sounds. You have Cher's like sort of pop disco thing, since this was the late 70s, and then you have Greg Allman trying to add his like southern rock blues thing to it. I don't know if it works, but these are actually go for a bit of money, since this was such a commercial and a critical failure when it came out. It's never been reissued, and actually it was just last year, since Cher owns the master tapes of this recording, she just last year released all the songs on YouTube. So it's something that they've been kind of like trying to hide and not do reissues of, but I don't know, maybe they'll end up doing a reissue of it. But yeah, not my favorite thing, but it's just an interesting little pop culture thing to have. And this one just came on the Warner Brothers label. Not see that. That's cool. Next up, an artist you can never go wrong with. This is Foolish Behavior by Rod Stewart. This is an original 1980 US press. This is his rock pop thing, not as disco as the records before this. I think this was him sort of getting back to sort of his more earlier 70s work. But I love Rod Stewart. I honestly have never heard anything by him that I didn't like. I even named my cat Maggie May after one of his songs. So I just really love him, and I just really plan on having everything he's ever done, even like his newer stuff. I love his newer stuff too. But yeah, you can never go wrong with him. And the video for the song off of this album, She Won't Dance With Me, was the third video ever played on MTV. So that's like a cool little fun fact. And then this one just came on these custom Warner Brothers labels. And then next up, another blind buy, because I think I remember seeing Mazzy in one of his videos from a really long time ago, just rave about one of these albums by this band. But this is Rock Festival by Youngbloods. This album, or not this album, but this band features Jesse Colin Young, and I do have one of his solo albums, but I've always heard of Youngbloods, but I've never listened to them. But this is a live album. This is original 1970 US press. I've described this as rock, folk, country. This was their first live album and was recorded at several shows around Southern California. But yeah, Youngbloods are great. I've described them as like the Byrds, Grateful Dead, just very typical of that late 60s California sound during that time. But they put their own unique spin on it, and I just really dug this. I hope to find more Youngbloods records in the future. And then this one just came on this Raccoon Warner Brothers white label. I don't think I've ever seen that raccoon on anything before, so I wonder if it was like a sub-label of Warner Brothers, or if it was like the label that Youngbloods was on before they joined Warner Brothers. I don't know. If you know more about it, let me know. I've just never seen that on any other record, let alone a Warner Brothers label, so. And then next up, I cannot believe I got this for the price that I did. This is the self-titled debut album by Blood Rock. This is an original 1970 UK press. I would describe this as hard rock, psych, a little proto-metal-y. But yeah, I literally just got this because it just looked cool. And Blood Rock, that sounds like such like a cool like hard rock name. And then I got home and was putting it on Discogs, and I cannot believe how much this goes for. This is, I think I paid like $20 for this. Definitely not more than $20. In this particular issue of this record, there's only one on sale for Discogs right now, and the person's asking $239, which is kind of insane. The median price is $40, but I looked at the buying history, and the last 3 or 4 of these that have sold on Discogs have been between $100 and $130. So I got this for a steal, and I was looking at the American version of this record, and even the American versions don't go for as much as this one. I think the American versions average around like $50, $75, and this is like a Texas band, so you'd think the US presses would go for more. So I don't know if maybe it's just like a sound quality thing, or maybe these were just really limited pressings in the UK. But yeah, that was a cool, nice find. But yeah, I really, really, really dig this album. The best way I could describe their sound is if you mix like Deep Purple with like Black Sabbath and a little pinch of like Pentagram, like late 70s, like early proto metal. Really, really dig this album. Really dig their sound. And this one just came on black vinyl with the green capital label. Yeah, I cannot believe that when I took it home, because I was like, oh, I bet it's worth some money, because very rarely at this antique store is there a record for $20. Usually they're around like $8 to $10. So I was like, oh, this one's probably worth a bit, but I was not expecting it to be worth as much as it was. This is another cool one. This is Desert Skies by Beechwood Sparks. This is an original 2014 US press. Again, I never see newer records at this antique store, so I was surprised to find this. But it just looked really cool. Sort of took a chance on it. And I would describe this as rock, country, alternative. This was their 5th album, and they were a band that formed in LA in 1997. They had a couple releases on Sub Pop in the early 2000s to the 2010s, and then when they released this one, they transitioned to this Alive Natural Sounds label. But yeah, I really dig it. The best way I could describe them is if you were to mix, again, the Byrds with like the Doors, but a little bit more of like a modern alternative sound, like Oasis. Like, that's kind of the best way I could describe them. But I really dig this album. I was really happy. I kind of just bought this blindly, and one of the reasons I bought this was I saw the vinyl. I've never seen a colored vinyl like this before. They called it Starburst, but I guess this was only limited to 100 copies, this particular color variant. This awesome tie-dye rainbow. Man, this is so cool. But yeah, I was like, I have to get it just because of how cool this color variant is. But yeah, super happy to have that. Again, I got this for a steal. I think I paid like $10 for it. I think the median price on Discogs is like $40-50, so I just keep getting lucky with those ones. Last but not least, an album I just have really been enjoying lately. This is Teaser by Tommy Bolin. This originally came out in 1975, and this is a 1982 US press. I would describe this as hard rock, blues, a little glam rock, a little jazz. It just really has like everything on here, and he does it really well. This was Tommy's debut solo album. Tommy famously was a session musician, and he also was a touring musician with Deep Purple and James Gang. He unfortunately died really, really young of a drug overdose. I think this was the only solo album he ever did. But I really enjoy this. I would describe his work sounds a lot to me like Todd Rundgren's work. Just a really great mix of like hard rock, glam rock, but you can also hear some like reggae, some jazz, some prog. There's just like a little bit of everything on this record, and he does it all so well, which I feel like is really hard to do when you're trying to do a lot on your own solo debut work. But yeah, just such a great album. Cannot recommend it enough. And this one just came on this Nemperor Records label. I don't think I've ever seen anything on this label before, so that's pretty dope. But yeah, that was all I got these last 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.